Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's SEO Q&A session sponsored by Niche Website Builders. We are still waiting for Chris to come. I'm going to make the assumption he's been caught up in a call or something like that. However, we are here to answer as many questions as you can. And yeah, let me know what your questions are in the chat. Who's watching? Where are you from? All of that good stuff. And Randy Roday, howdy boys or boy, because Chris is not here yet, Randy. But I was going to say long time no see, but that would just be a lie, Randy. So Randy is in my mastermind. If you're not in the mastermind, I do have a private mastermind where we chat all things SEO and help one another in a private environment, just in case anyone wonders what the hell we're talking about, which is always good fun. So that is where I seen Randy earlier. I'm just making sure I have sent Chris the link to the show. Yep, I definitely have. So good times in the mastermind. Live F1 fan is there. How are you, buddy? Live IRL fan, now live F1 fan. Whatever works for you. So many accounts. And it is always good times in the mastermind, having good people, just bounce ideas around, see what the fuck's happening. Always works well, I think. So can't really say too much. Obviously, I'm going to say it's great because it's mine, but I think having people to talk to about all things SEO is quite important for your sanity, if anything. So it can be seen as a therapeutic session as well. Nicole, how are you? Good to see you last week at SEO Underground. Nicole came all the way from Switzerland to London to SEO Underground, which was an amazing event. Harry Minge is there. No Man Can is there. Still no Chris Palmer, but he has actually come in halfway through a session before because he's been caught up in a call or been caught up with something family-wise, so I can crack on and answer any questions that you've got. So please do put your questions over there in the live chat, and I will try and answer as many of them as I possibly can. Can be anything digital marketing related. I might not have the answer, but it's worth a try. I will try my best to answer it as best as I possibly can. But we have been off for a few weeks, so not sure if people thought we were giving up doing the show or whatever, but we are back and here to do it weekly as normal. We just had a couple of weeks off due to actually speaking at events and whatnot, so and traveling and stuff. So that was the reason we weren't on the last couple of weeks. But it looks like it's going to be a slow start today in terms of people asking questions. Just double checking. See if Chris has read my message. He hasn't yet. He was online 12 minutes ago, though. But Chris is not the only one that can answer it. Mr. Dirk Shembry, how are you? From Malta. Mark Bressler. Unfortunately, I have limited time and budget for SEO. What are the top 3 must-do items for SEO? First and foremost is having a good, solid foundation. A nice, clean, fast-loading website would be step number 1. It doesn't have to look the best in the world, in all honesty, but just a good foundation to work on. Second most important thing would be content. Content is really, really important. You can get so far and get a reasonable amount of traffic just persevering and adding content, blog posts, whatever guys you want to do it in. And it's one of those things that I think anyone can do it, and there's no real cost to it other than your own time. So that would be the second most important thing. Third, depending on whether you're local or not, I would take advantage of Google My Business or Google, what do they call it now? GBP, Google Business Profile. But the map listing, there's a lot of traffic to be had there. You need a bunch of citations, consistencies of your name, address, and phone number. And that would be the top 3 items I'd be doing for SEO to begin with. Obviously, link building plays a massive part of SEO, but costs a fair amount of money. So it's one of those things that if budget's tight, I would work on some of the freer or more cost-effective things. And then once money starts coming in, you can then invest in the rest of it. So it's important to get the basics right first and foremost. Holly has some new YouTube tricks. Did it involve phones? Yes, but there's also laptops involved as well. So it's not for me to give Holly's secrets away. I don't want to. I don't want to give too much away about what she's doing. Right, if you go and follow her, she's been open and honest about it anyway. But there's MacBooks involved as well. So, but that's not the only things that she disclosed, and there are some tricks there that didn't involve phones that I learned from Holly. So, as I say, I'm not going to give away someone's golden secrets because the secrets that were shared with me, I was told not to tell, specifically not to share them. So I've got to oblige with that because she was kind enough to share with me. So that's all I can say. You need to follow Holly for whatever else she's wanting to share. Adam Hawthorne, how did the events go? Anything you can share from them? The events both went very well. The one in Nashville was eye-opening, and SEO Underground was also great. Anything I can share from them? I'm not sure I can divulge too much because I know SEO Underground are going to be selling the videos, so I don't want to give everyone's secrets away. They're not my secrets to give away, and they're selling them in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be able to watch them all for something like $100 or whatever it is from SEO Underground. Mastermind Mansion, a couple of things that I learned there. Jordan Pierce has an amazing tool /script that can report spammy GMBs in autopilot. Ted Kabaitis was talking a lot about referring domains and the impact that those have on inner pages ranking well for competitive keywords. There was loads of good stuff, far too many to mention. But obviously, I consider myself to be fairly experienced in the world of SEO. Am I going over there and learning loads? The answer is no. It's just different small little things, small little changes that make all the difference. So I don't have any kind of a list of all these amazing new tricks because there isn't any. But certainly mindset, some cool new tricks, some cool automation and shit like that was there. And as I say, what Ted Kabaitis said about referring domains going to inner pages, potentially a PR gig or whatever, rather than just building a whole ton of guest posts is working well for him. So that was quite an interesting theory that I will go away and test and see how much of an impact it has on the campaigns that I'm working on. So, yeah, there's a few bits. Nicole, I have a client who has no access to anything beyond the data aggregator. Should I take other steps? Local SEO question. I mean, you need access to something. I don't know when you say you've got a new client who has no access to anything. So you're talking about like a previous GMB. What is it they don't actually have access to? I mean, if they don't have access to stuff, then you're going to have to either recreate or try and get access to that particular asset. Reach out to the person who created them. If that's not possible, then potentially you need to try and get them put down and recreate new ones. But you do need access to the GMB, the website, and whatever else if you want to do local SEO. So, but let me know if I might have picked that up wrong. All about information and study, how to select a niche for affiliate websites. There's no easy, quick way to answer that. I'm pretty sure everyone in this chat is working in specific niches, all different niches, doing all sorts of weird and wonderful sales. How would I select a niche? Try and find something that's got decent search volume, a high ticket item, and maybe something that you enjoy. Now, a lot of people will argue and say, it doesn't have to be something you enjoy, and that's correct. It doesn't have to be something you enjoy. But when you select a niche, I would rather have a website on a topic that I had some form of interest in. Have had websites and niches that have little to no interest in me, and I think that's reflected in how well those websites done. So how to select a niche is anyone's guess. Find something that's not got a huge amount of competition, that's got decent search volume, and it would be a reasonably high ticket item. Don't go after things that sell for $5 because it's hard to make that work for you on a big scale. So that's as much as I can really say. Other people will have weird tactics in terms of how they find niche sites, and everyone's different. Everybody whacking the technical questions before his backup arrives. I'm driving. Don't know if you're referring that I'm not technical, but as someone 20 years into the industry, I would consider myself to be reasonably technical. Maybe not as freaky as Palmer, but hey. But technical questions are always good. So do fire them away. I missed your first one. Sorry, I was reading your link. Got to the new MacBook today. So Randy is taking action. That's the big thing to take from these courses, is taking action. So Holly has a specific type of MacBook that she's using with this overall process, and Randy has went and got one. So I like that, Randy. Taking action is the key to any success. Is she revealing it in a course? I don't know, mate. You genuinely would have to ask Holly. Any questions relating to another person and their tactics, and if they are going to release a course, would be better answered by them. I have no clue whether she's selling it as a course. If she has sold it as a course, I have no clue. I genuinely don't know. Randy, maybe you could answer that in the chat. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I talked to Holly face to face over there. I have no idea. I didn't ask her if it was a course or is ever going to be in a course or anything. It could be. It could be. It might not be. I've just been told not to share some of the secrets that she told me for one reason or another, and it's because they're working relatively well for her. So I get that, but that does not mean it's coming out in a course. I genuinely don't know the answer to that one, so you need to ask her that question. Keyword clustering. How often would you review the clustering structure with your sites? Dirk, I mean, I think you have to look at this on a frequent basis. I'm not saying every week or every month by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it would be quite important to look at your cluster, see if there's any gaps there, anything you've missed out on, anything new that the competition have come up with. So, I think it would have to form part of your auditing process or whatever when you're doing this stuff, checking it, seeing if there's anything missing, and then add that into your content strategy. So I think if a website's making you money, I'm not going to sit here and say I do it weekly or whatever. What I do know is that when I'm looking at analytics and everything else, if I've got pages that are not performing that well, and they're part of a cluster, I'm quite happy to merge, get rid of them and stuff like that as well. I just don't see the need for having something that's maybe not working that well for you. But like anything, how big does a topical cluster become? And it can be massive. So there's always going to be opportunities out there. So I think it is something you want to review, and equally also be prepared to remove some of the crap from the cluster that maybe doesn't get a lot of traffic or a huge amount of impressions. So I don't think it's always about reviewing and adding to it. I think, tweaking it and removing some stuff or whatever is also another way to look at it. And as I say, things that, grow depending on the niche. So I don't think it should be something you should ever stop doing. I think it does have to be reviewed, maybe quarterly, something like that. Because always you come up with a content plan. I think a lot of people will plan their content, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe every 6 months, whatever. That really is down to you and how far ahead you want to map that stuff out. But certainly, look at it more frequently than you probably are just now would be the right answer. What are your thoughts about using QR codes for indexing or other particular uses? Randy, I see what you're doing there. So the QR code stuff, I think, is very interesting for people like you, Randy, and Madge, and various other guys who do the whole PR gig thing. I think trying to get your pages indexed quicker is a kind of no-brainer. As such, but I do see that becoming very, very spammy and very, very abused, so to speak, over a period of time, because people are talking about adding it to mass page websites and all of this stuff. But if it works well for indexing, I can see why someone like yourself might want to use it as part of their overall setup, in terms of getting those press releases indexed. So I think it's a great thing, and I think it's a great thing to try out. I'm not sure that I'd be using QR codes for the kind of spammier type things. I just can't be asked. As I said in the mastermind, unless it can be automated and made to be a bit easier, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure, not sure the value of it, but I like what others said in there, in terms of using the QR codes, maybe in vans, plumbers, and stuff like that. To give out their details to potential customers who are walking by or driving past the van or whatever. So I think there are a lot of places you can use them for other uses on top of the indexing, but it really depends on what your setup's like. So for those people doing local and stuff, why not? And for the likes of you, I can see why it would work for indexing reasons. Randy, Dean doesn't want to share. We did find out what Chris Palmer's favourite cocktail is at SEO Underground. He loves the strawberry daiquiri, does Mr. Palmer, and he gobbled one up that wasn't even his. And that was quite a funny story. But it was great to see Chris Palmer in person. And a whole bunch of other people, Jonesy and others. And I also met Randy over there in Nashville in person for the first time, and Nicole had came from Switzerland, so it was great to finally meet a lot of people in person. And Holly could potentially have. This is the thing, live F1 fan. Nothing surprises me with Holly. She tries and tries and tries and tries to do all of this stuff, and as I say, massive respect to her for doing it. But when I look at the pictures and shit like that, you're just like, fuck me. I looked at our Facebook this morning, and there was like 2 tables. I potentially got 5 or 6 laptops on them each, doing a thing. So, listen, I have massive respect for it. She's but having them in calculators or whatever, it would not surprise me, mate. It would not surprise me. So how does one obtain access when no one has access? So you can go and claim that profile, Nicole. Now, the process here, when you claim a GMB, is if the actual owner does not respond to the email saying, what happens is if you claim it and say, this is now Nicole's, it will ping the actual owner an email, and it will say, Nicole is saying that this is her GMP listing. Is that correct? Yes or no, or whatever, and they can agree to give you that GMP. If they ignore it, after 7 days, it automatically becomes yours. Now, I'm not sure if that actually works 100% of the time, or if that's been abused to the death and no longer works 100% of the time, but that is primarily how you would normally do it. And if that doesn't work, then I think recreating a new one and reporting the old one for spam and getting it taken down would be your other resolution. But how do you get access if no one has access? That is the only real way of going round about it, unfortunately. And because people have abused GMBs, I'm not sure how effective that will be for you now, Nicole. Jose, do you think the pagination for large product pages are still important, or would you recommend to use infinite scroll? I'm not going to sit here and say one over the other, because I believe that both can work. However, infinite scroll for me is not user friendly. I get, like, if you're on a mobile device, it's probably easier and slicker to use that. But pagination for me is old school. It's probably my preferred choice because I know that works. Infinite scroll, how fucking far? Some of these pages are going to be ridiculously long, and I think people would end up getting fed up and bugging off of the website. So it's a difficult one to say, but pagination for me is my preferred choice, shall I say. I'm not saying it's the most important one, but that's my preferred choice, is the way that I'd like to word that one. Infinite scroll can be a pain for a user, so there you go. Aloak, hello. All about information and study. Best tool for SEO, SEMrush or Ahrefs? Personally, I'm a massive SEMrush fan. I think it's got multiple tools. I like the interface. And it's one that I've used for years now. I'm not dismissing Ahrefs in any stretch of the imagination. I use both tools. I like certain parts of Ahrefs. A lot of people, when it comes to link building, talk in DR, even though people argue that you don't, it's a third-party metric. So I like both tools, and I think, Ahrefs has got some great little features that I use on a regular basis. And SEMrush overall, I think, if you're asking me what's the best one in general, SEMrush gives you a lot more. There's a lot more within SEMrush as an all-in-one SEO tool. So SEMrush would be the preferred choice, but I do personally use both, and I like to compare data as well. So that's another reason I use both. But interface wise and stuff, SEMrush for me all day long. And I think the information on SEMrush is up there alongside Ahrefs now. And I think in the past it was probably seen in the industry that Ahrefs had better backlink data. I don't believe that to be the case anymore. I think SEMrush have massively improved on that side, plus they've massively improved the kind of other tools within SEMrush. So that is why that is my favourite. Joe's Cranes, how are you, mate? Hope you're well. Paul Delaney, what do you think about programmatic approach to informational content, e.g., how to find the best blue gutties and switch keywords, etc.? Any pitfalls to look for? First off, blue gutties. I'm not sure anyone outside of Glasgow would know what that means, but blue trainers for anyone else. 1728. What the fuck was that? That was my watch telling me it's 1728. Don't know why it done that. So what do I think about it? Anything, any pitfalls to look for? Pitfalls. There's, I don't know what to say in terms of any pitfalls to look for. Are you experiencing any? Explain, reword the question, because I'm not sure what. Are you finding any kind of? Are you doing it already? First and foremost, and secondly, are you experiencing any problems? Would be a better way. So, any pitfalls to look for. What I find as a pitfall might not necessarily be a pitfall for you, or a pitfall for anyone else to think about. So, it would just be generic garbage I'm going to spout out, and I don't like to do that. Like to try and answer it specific. So, are you having any? Or do you are you seeing any kind of problems or pitfalls or whatever it might be that I can answer specifically? Let me know that, and I'll try and answer it better for you. Madge, hey, how you doing? Thank you, Nicole. Eric Cartman, could you give me a piece of advice how to restore a GMB account? Google doesn't answer. That is not one that I am best to answer. Eric Cartman, this is where we need guys like Chris. Chris does a lot more GMBs than me. I do know that a lot of GMB accounts go down on a regular basis. I'm not sure if someone in the audience could help you. If you do know the answer to this, guys, please put it in the chat. All I know out there is that GMBs are very temperamental, and I know guys that have got thousands of GMBs that some of which either get reported for spam and taken down or whatever. Now, can that be restored easily? I'm sure there are ways, and there's guys out there like Jordan Pierce who are like geniuses when it comes to GMB. I just don't do a huge amount of GMB to be able to tell you an up-to-date answer on that. Google won't answer that. I wouldn't imagine. I do know that a lot of GMBs go down. How do you recover them though? I'm not sure of the actual method in terms of how often that works, what you have to do, and all that kind of stuff. What I do know is that a lot of people's competition, people are becoming wiser. And if people see you as a plumber and they know you're a one-man business and you've got fucking 10 listings in one area, potentially their SEO or whatever's going to report that shit and potentially get it suspended. Are you going to be able to recover that? Probably not, because what would tend to happen is Google would phone you up and say, show me outside your address or whatever. And a lot of these people are doing pin drops and all sorts of weird stuff, and they know you're not at that address, so they'll just take it down and that's it. End of story. However, I'm sure someone in there will be able to tell us that that there is a way to do it. I have heard of people using Photoshop and photoshopping their shit on there, but again, you need to go back a few steps. When you're doing your pin drops or whatever it is you're doing to create these GMBs, are you doing it on a premises like that is an actual office space? And do you have the ability to Photoshop or do something on there to suggest that you are really there? Is what Google are essentially going to be looking for. And if you can't do that, the likelihood of that recovering is probably going to be slim to none, because they want rid of all the kind of spammy GMBs. And obviously, as SEOs, and I count myself in this, we all pile in, we all abuse shit that works. And, as I say, I've met friends years ago who literally the whole business is based around spammy GMBs. And they're making money on lead gen through that stuff. So, it's getting harder and harder, and profiles are getting taken down on a regular basis. So it's probably a common problem. But if anyone does have an answer, let us know. But sorry, Eric, I cannot answer that specifically because I don't know if there is a regular method that could get you out of that. Sadly. Venkat, what do you suggest as per your experience going live regularly on a Facebook profile or YouTube channel? So I do both. Like, why not do both? Like, at the moment, I'm using a platform called StreamYard that allows me to push this particular webinar out on my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, and so on. Why not do all four at one time? And then obviously look at the insights and the analytics to decide which of these work best. I think it's easy to rank a YouTube video, and that to me is an important part of the thing because other people can find your videos quite easily. Can you rank a Facebook Live video? I'm pretty sure someone would argue that you might be able to or whatever, but YouTube's easier to manipulate. YouTube's got a much bigger audience and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't ignore anything, but I would certainly use something like StreamYard to stream out to all the different places. And I do stream out to Twitch, which I probably have little to no followers on, but I just do it just to tick another box and see what uptake it gets. So I wouldn't say one over the other is the honest answer. And Paul Delaney, he's planning it at the moment, doesn't want the pages to look too samey. I guess I'm just concerned the client might think it looks spammy having hundreds of how to find the best blue trainers, how to find the best red trainers, etc., etc. Plan at the moment, don't want the pages to look too much the same. If the thing for me, Paul, with what you're doing, if you're already asking that question, give me a second. So if you're already asking that question, there's already an element of doubt in your mind. Now, for me, which is going to seem extreme. A lot of people see me as a kind of black hat person, and would happily churn out hundreds, if not thousands, of pages. For me, I'm a realistic guy. If a website's making money and stuff like that, would I want to create a whole ton of those pages that are potentially automatically generated and doing that in a massive scale that obviously are aiming to sell these products? The answer would be no. They are going to look very, very similar, and it is going to look very, very spammy. And for me, being a realist, do Google want that? The way I look at it is there's already, I don't know, billions of pages being added to the internet every day. We're clogging up Google's fucking space. Google are looking for GMBs to take down because everyone's piled their way in there. They're looking for pages to de-index. They're looking for links to de-index. They're looking to try and offer a simple solution to kind of any search term. And that kind of approach, you already suggest that the client might think it looks spammy. And I'm not saying it can't work and doesn't work or anything like that. But if the client's going to think it looks spammy, what the hell are Google going to think? I think that that for me answers the question. Can it work in the short term? Yes. Does it work for other people? Yes. Is it something that's going to be slapped long term? Potentially, yes. So it's something I think to be done properly. You're going to have to do it properly, and you don't want the pages to look the same. I just don't think you're offering any value to the internet if all the pages do look very similar or the same. So based on that, it's certainly not something that I think's the best approach to things. Is it going to work long term? Are you going to suffer long term? I think the answer to that would be yes. So I'm not a fan of that approach. my personal opinion, and I know that might surprise certain people, but I think spam's. Well, I'm not saying it's spam because it's not, but you get my point. I think it's one of those things that when you think about what Google would want and all that kind of stuff, it's spammy. There's nothing else we can say. So hopefully that gives you some sort of impact, Paul. But if you do want to hop in a call and talk about it in depth, I'm always happy to jump in a call with you, mate. And as I say, that's just my personal opinion on it. But each to their own. If all tools didn't show any data of competitor, then how to check competitors? If all tools don't show any data of a competitor, then how do you check your competitors? I'm going to make the assumption, Usama, and I might be wildly wrong with this, but are you suggesting that your competitor is hiding the Ahrefs bot, the SEMrush bot, and all that kind of stuff from accessing the data on the website? Because obviously people can do that and stop you from or stop these tools from showing out any data. If that's the case, then you can do a lot of manual searches and stuff like that to see what's going on with the client. You can look at the client's website, you can see what they're doing, visibly with your own eyes, whether you're looking at their navigational structure and stuff like that. Now, of course, you might not be able to figure out their backlink profile that well or whatever, but again, there's only so much you can do. And if someone wants to hide that level of information, then that's up to them. But there is a website out there called public www. And there's a million other lesser known SEO tools where your competitor might not have blocked the bot too. So you can use one of those other tools, maybe one that's maybe not as big as SEMrush or Ahrefs. That's another way, but public www is one that people tend not to block as such, and that can show you a lot of data. Now, on the flip side of that, if you tell me there is no data and they've not blocked these tools, then I wouldn't consider them a competitor at that point. So I'm going to make the assumption that they're blocking some of the tools from seeing what they're up to. Autry, if you could tell yourself 3 things before you started your affiliate journey, what would it be? Research a niche properly would be the first one. I've dived 2-footed into a lot of niches where I've not understood the niches, the kind of legal parameters around that niche and stuff like that. So doing a bit more research in the niche, not selling products that are seasonal. Seasonal is another one where I've been caught out and jumped into a niche which made me really good money for 6 months of a year. And what else would I've done? The other one that I often talk about is selling items. So as far as I'm concerned as an affiliate, and it might be very different for you, I outsource a lot of the work. So content writing and all that kind of stuff's all outsourced. It's done by another person. So me doing a blog post or an article targeting a product that costs $5 or one that costs $500 costs me the same amount of time, effort, and money. And I've jumped into niches and not been targeting the right items for one reason or another. I've just been going after search volume. So that in itself is something that I failed on miserably a couple of times. And I look at the average order value and it's always been relatively low. And I'm like, geez, I'm paying out X amount of money for content, X amount of money for links. This isn't even breaking even. So you need to make sure that you are targeting the right products in the right price range to make it all worth your while, because like most, we delegate a lot of our work out. And it's got to provide a return on investment. So I wish I'd done that sooner. But like anything, we always jump in, pile in, two-footed, and then realise the mistakes we've made looking back on them. Chris Housett meant to say thank you for dinner. I'm not sure what dinner you're referring to. Is that SEO Underground? I'm not sure. Let me know. But I don't know where else that could have been. It must be. So let me know. But guys, do keep asking your questions, and just going to check if Chris Palmer has seen my message yet. I'm not sure what's wrong with Chris. Hopefully he's all good. Rahul Gupta, how are you, mates? SEO Underground. I'm not going to lie, Chris, I didn't actually pay for anyone's dinner. I didn't even have dinner myself, but some people did pay for your dinner. I'm not sure who, but a couple of guys were like, yeah, fucking someone ran away and never paid for their dinner and all that stuff. But I don't remember paying for a dinner. Someone else probably paid for it, but I can take the credit. No problem at all. So there you go. Raul Gupta, how can I prove my content writing skills? Grammarly. Use AI to assist you with your content writing. Quillbot can paraphrase a lot of stuff. There's a couple of tools that can help with content writing skills. In terms of how to improve your written abilities, you would need to go and maybe do a copywriter course or one of these things. There's probably a lot of people teaching that stuff out there. Again, I don't know how good, bad, or indifferent you are at writing. And obviously, Hemingway's another one that's there, recommended by Connect SEO. So there's a lot of tools you can use that I've just mentioned that can help you improve some of those. I'm not the best content writer in the world, but I think I can get by with the tools that are on the market. Should I go away and do a content writing course? Yes, if I was going to be selling content or going to be a professional writer, yes, I could be doing with coaching on that side of things. So if you want to, there are people out there that teach that stuff and can make you better at it. But it's whether you're going to actually be the person that sits down and writes the content. The only reason I've never done a course on that is I like to focus on what I'm good at and get other people to fill the areas of weakness that I've got. And content writing for me is one of those that I just can't be bothered doing. So that's the reality of it. But hopefully you can find a course or something out there that does help you improve it. But a couple of tools: Grammarly, Quillbot, Hemingway. You could potentially use some of the AI tools and stuff like that. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought. Where's Palmer? I don't know. I don't know where he is. I hope he's all good. I did send him the link. Maybe he's still jet lagged. But nah, he's probably been caught up in a call or someone's website's blown up or fucking, you know what it's like. Something's probably he very rarely does it unless there's a problem. Typically we'd say I'm not making it today because I'm on holiday or whatever. But yeah, he's I've not heard from him, so who knows? Who knows? Got a customer today and their GMB listing URL is hijacked. And what did you do to get it back? If you've done anything, let us know. What is your thought about niche site business? It is booming right now. There is a lot of people talking about niche websites, and to the point where I think it's now become a running joke on platforms like Twitter, where people are calling themselves niche website this, niche website that. And you've also got niche website builders are the new sponsor of the YouTube channel. it is a booming business. People should be investing in digital assets, as far as I'm concerned. Niche websites is a great way forward to make money. But a lot of people are talking about it online and they showing case studies and giving examples of what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. So niche websites is very much a good way forward in making money and entering the affiliate space. So I don't see anything wrong with it. I the only thing that frustrates me is people term themselves as a niche website person. You're either a marketer or an SEO or whatever. A niche website builder. I see a lot of people using their names with that included in it, which you're just like, come on, guys, what the fuck? But as I say, if they're making money and they're being successful with it, which a lot of them are, then happy days. That's why we're all here, and that's why we're all trying to learn more about digital marketing. So there, hopefully that gives you my feedback on it. I'm late, but what's up, homies? Homie. Chris is not here yet. He's not arrived. Not sure what's going on with him, but all good my end, and we're still battering on with the questions. So if you do have questions, please do put them in the live chat. Please also give the video a like if you can as well. Now, Raul is asking, do we need to check keyword difficulty before targeting any keywords? You can do, potentially should do. Is keyword difficulty the be all and end all of your keyword research? The answer is no. Have I ever looked at keyword difficulty and it said something like the keyword difficulty is 65 and then I've ranked for it relatively easy? Yes. And then I've also, on the flip side of that, I've seen something with a keyword difficulty of 23 and the fucking thing won't move, So is keyword difficulty an exact score or an exact science? The answer is no. It's not something I would obsess with too much, but I think when you're doing your keyword research, it gives you an idea as to the level of competition a keyword's got. And of course, keywords with a lower keyword difficulty score should be easier to achieve. And I think that is a great starting point when you're starting out. So would I take it into consideration? Yes. But what I've said on many occasions, what I see a lot of people doing in terms of making mistakes is topical clustering. So I build topical clusters. I don't just build keywords randomly willy-nilly. So let's say, for example, the topical cluster is about the word podcasts, which is the main core topic in the middle. That's the pillar post, the power page, whatever you fucking want to call it. We're targeting podcasts with that page. It's going to be keyword difficulty 85, let's see. Now, surrounding that, I'm going to have supporting articles talking about comedy podcasts, business podcasts, self-help podcasts, and so on and so forth. Supporting articles which internally link into the main podcast page. That is what I would call a topical cluster. So, what does it matter what the keyword difficulty is of the word podcasts? That is my topical cluster. I want a big ass podcast page, and I want the supporting articles surrounding that all internally link into the podcast page. So, if the keyword difficulty on podcasts is 85, am I just going to not bother doing that page because the keyword difficulty is too high? Absolutely not. The page is still going to be there. Now, I wouldn't expect it to rank anytime soon, but the supporting articles are going to have keyword difficulty that are a lot less. That is just what a topical cluster is. So I'm not going to say that it's a big thing, keyword difficulty. Topical clustering is more important to me than keyword difficulty, and grouping your topical cluster together is more important and an ongoing thing to do. So yes, I do check them. Yes, you can aim for lower competition keywords and stuff like that, but I just don't think that's doing the job properly. I think, just building out a topical cluster. Of course, there's going to be competitive stuff in there. Of course, there's going to be easier stuff in there. So hopefully that answers your question. What would be the the niche today? I don't know. Anyone can guess that. A question that we get asked a lot is, what niche is the best niche to go into? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I travel a lot for conferences and stuff, and I'm always surprised when you talk to people, how you making money, what niche are you in, and always come away surprised. I'm just like, fuck, I didn't realize there was much money in that niche. So there's niches all out there, in any kind of walk of life, whether that be sex toys, whether it be dating, whether it be porn, whether it be gambling, whether it be selling hairbrushes, whether it be selling plant pots. It really doesn't matter. There's volume and there's money to be made in them all. So what is the best niche to go after today? I don't know. There's just so much money in the table out there. And I've come across a lot of guys in some niches that I've never actually thought of. The way I look at it is it high ticket items? Is the search volume there? I know guys that sell nothing else but hunting scopes on guns, so little hunting scope, and I've got websites that's all they promote. Great niche. It's not my niche because I don't know anything about hunting. But it's a high ticket item and stuff like that. Same with diesel generators. I've got a friend who's got a website full of different diesel generators, and that's the niche he's in. Not exactly exciting, but they cost a lot of money, and he gets a good bunch of money off it. So even things like diesel generators is a niche in itself. So how we can say what's the best and what's not, it's really difficult because, as I say, every time I'm out there, I do get surprised by niches that people work in. And yeah, it's always very interesting. And sometimes I kick myself going, fuck, why did I not think of that one first? So some of the ones that are out there, some of the good ones are actually really simple. But that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give anyone's niches away as such. However, before I answer your question, Raoul, we are going to be doing a live show on a Tuesday at 3:00 with Niche Website Builders, and I'm going to have a collection of different people from Niche Website Builders coming on. So Mark is one of the co-founders. He's going to be on next Tuesday, and we're going to talk about niche websites. But over the coming weeks and months, we're going to dig deeper into what niches have been successful. And and the reason that I'm quite excited about this particular stream is these guys have built over 5,000 niche websites. They have data to tell us what's working, what's not, what amounts of content go on these websites, and so on and so forth. We can even talk about weird and wonderful niches that these guys have built websites out on, because they've done 5,000 of them. So we are going to be doing a show specifically with niche website builders every Tuesday, talking about niche websites. And as I say, we'll be digging deeper into not necessarily just websites I've heard of, ones that they've seen and their customers have had success with it and all that stuff. So it should be interesting. So that's going to be as of next Tuesday from 3:00 on this YouTube channel. But you can check out Niche Website Builders. The link is below. They build them out for you if you can't be asked doing any work. So it's a great option. But back to Raoul's question. How can we rank on multiple keywords from one single blog post? The best piece of advice, Raoul, I could give you is go look at Neil Patel Now, if you Google what is SEO, that particular blog post ranks for 7,000 different keywords. Now, what you'll find out is that it's a lengthy blog post. It has subheadings on that, and it's a well-structured page. Now, if you want a page to rank well, whether it be for FAQ stuff, whether it be for whatever, you're going to have subheadings and content on that page. Now, people say, well, what does a page like that look like? That's why I'm referring you to Neil Patel's What is SEO page. You can stick it into Ahrefs, you can stick it into SEMrush, whatever you want. It's undeniable that that page ranks for thousands of keywords. And that is the type of page structure that I would recommend that people use if they want to make sure that their post ranks for multiple keywords, because that's the job. It's not to rank for one or two keywords. You want your post to rank for hundreds, if not thousands of keywords, if that's at all possible. So have a look at that one, Raoul. Hopefully that gives you some food for thought. But for me, that is a great blog post in terms of structure and everything else that he's done on there. So you'll be able to analyze exactly what he's done with that page there. And when is this starting? So the Niche Website Builders live session is going to be every Tuesday at 3 p.m. UK time, starting from next week. And NFG was on 2-3 weeks ago. I think it was on late September. It was online, Adam, so it wasn't an in-person conference. I'm not sure if as a Cashflow Digital, I thought you're talking about the NFG event. Cashflow Digital will still be happening. That's on at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. So Cashflow Digital will carry on as normal with Brad and Mike. And this other one will be on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. So 2 sessions in one day. It's a big ask, but I think it's an interesting enough topic to talk about niche websites and dig into all the data that the fellas over at Niche Website Builders have. I think that's the most interesting part, is these guys are well positioned. They've built more fucking niche websites than anyone out there, probably. So having done it for a living, that's what their business model is. I think, the data, some of the mistakes that have been made along the way, and stuff like that is going to be interesting to dig deep into. And it's not just going to be the same guy on that weekly show. So we're going to have Mark on one week, potentially Adam, the other co-founder, on the other week, and potentially some of the other staff and management in there on as well, so that we can dig deep and extract as much good information from them as we possibly can in terms of data and stuff like that, to help us all with our own niche websites. So that's the plan for the show. For anyone who's interested in getting into niche websites, if you want to call it that. I'm starting to get sick of seeing niche websites now. But hey, it is what it is. But guys, we have a couple of minutes left, so if there's any last minute questions, please do pop them in the chat just now. Also, do give us a like on the video. Do check out the new sponsor, Niche Website Builders. The link is below. Yeah, and we will also be back next week with Mr. Chris Palmer. I'm not sure, as I say, what happened to him today, but I will find out, and touch wood and the wooden table that everything is okay with him. I'm sure it is. But if there are no further questions, guys, I am going to bail out and hopefully catch up with you guys next week at the same time. So we will be back same time next week, and we will be back on Tuesday, 3 p.m. for the new show with Niche Website Builders, and Cashflow Digital will be back at the usual time next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. and I might need that extra energy drink to keep me going for sure. 2 lives in one day is a tall order. So yeah, I'll give it a bash though, see what happens. But for now, guys, I will catch up with you later on, and hope you all have a good rest of the day. See you later, guys.